My name is Ben Mullen. I'm the owner and operator of Mullen's Driving School. I've created this video to help explain the parental involvement portion of our curriculum to teach your student how to drive. So let's get down to it. The purpose of this is to assess the risk of a certain intersection and define those risks given different factors. The intersection that I'm going to choose to assess is right in Augusta, and it is in this busy intersection loop by the Senator Inn and the Portland Glass of Augusta. Texas Roadhouse is also here. Hannaford Supermarket's around here. Those of you that have been to Augusta have seen this intersection. It's pretty complicated, especially for a first-time driver. This would be a high level of risk. I would not take someone here if I was driving with them until like their 7th hour. And as a parent, I would make sure that you were very confident in your son or daughter's abilities before you bring them here. Now, looking at the risk assessment survey, the first question is how many roads enter the intersection? So let's look at this specific situation right here. If we're going to count how many roads, we count 95 north and south, that's 1 and 2, and then Western Avenue, north and south, 2 different legs, 1 and 2. So there's at least 4 that enter the intersection, but what we're really concerned about is this situation right here where everything gets all crossed. So how many enter the intersection? Let's say right here, there's at least 4 that are going through that point at the time. What angles? So when we talk about the angles of the intersection, it is easiest to see out of perpendicular angles. So if it's a right angle, you can see out your window left and right, and it's much more easy to see whether or not people are coming. Because we're on the highway here, because we're getting on the highway, none of these are at right angles. They're all at, I don't know what this angle is, but an acute angle. This makes it more difficult because you're actually looking through either your passengers or your seat. So all of the angles going into this specific area right here are acute angles, which makes it more dangerous. What are the legal speed limits and what are the prevailing speed limits? Now, because these are ramps here, I believe the speed limits are like 25 and 35 here. However, people get pretty excited. Sometimes they're going 40. The difference between what the legal speed limits are and what the prevailing speed limits are changes the risk level of the intersection. Let's go down to the street view of this situation so we can see some of the visual concerns going into the intersection. Now, we are, I guess, headed south at this point, or we're going to hit this truck if we head south. We'd be in this lane if we were actually in Augusta jumping onto the highway. Visual distractions. Now, in this picture, we have multiple cars, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cars, and we also have signs. Okay, so signs are helpful because they give us information, but they're also distractions. There's a lot of pieces of information here for your eye to take in, and again, you're traveling probably 25 miles an hour going through this intersection. So we have, I don't know, 8 or 9 signs there. Now to go back a little bit, if we're coming from this angle, oh golly, coming from this angle, we have just come down this road, and there's a car that's merging, actually a semi-truck that's merging there. That also creates some excitement, let's say. Your son or daughter are just worried about hitting that car, and now they have to merge. Let's pretend like they're going to be going north here. So they have to get over into this lane right here in order to go north. So that's the different visual distractions that are present. Is the intersection flat, or is there a difference in visibility or difference in elevation? This matters a lot because you cannot see over a hill. Simple as that. In this situation, this whole area is flat. However, this is going to drop off, and that place we just came from where that semi-truck was coming is a decline. So it's coming up here, and you just came over the top of this bridge, so you're higher up. So you just did a big circle coming around here, and now you're whipping down this road, and you're worried about cars coming from there. So is there a difference in elevation? Yes. Does this make a difference in the risk of the intersection? Absolutely. Your vision of this intersection is obscured when you come around this corner by the hill. So there's no traffic lights in this intersection. This would be the next question. But is there visible signage? And as we mentioned, there's tons of visible signage. Some of it is a little bit distracting. If you were going through this intersection, you'd want to know where you were going before you entered. And as the parent, let's look at it as the co-pilot, you're going to know that if you're going to be going north here, you're going to be coaching your student from the time that they go over the bridge behind us to get into the right lane. Now, also there's a merge there, so they have to pay attention to the merge and then also get into the right lane. Now, as far as are drivers distracted, I would say drivers here hopefully are paying attention to what is going on. A more distracted route would be if you're going 45 down a road and there was a intersection that was going directly across it, like a four-way intersection. People are more likely to be distracted. I don't know if you've noticed, but when people are driving down the road, they are more likely to be using their phones on long, straight stretches because they believe it's safer. It's not safer because then you're just going higher. You're going higher speed off the road, but often people think it's a little safer. Now, the last question here, are there roadway traction issues or visibility concerns right here? When Google took this picture, completely clear day, sunny. There isn't even glare. Like, we're not going into the morning sun or the evening sun. There's no sand on the roads. This is probably in the middle of the summer. Early spring, you could expect sand. We all live in Maine. The winter is interesting too, right? These are all factors that are going to matter when you go through this intersection. Each one of these factors, each one of these specific factors increases risk. So pay attention when you're driving with your son or daughter, how this is going to affect their ability to get through the intersection safely. If you're watching this video, you have most likely received this PDF in your email. This is the document I refer to when talking about the intersections. You'll notice the different questions as I referred to in the previous video. Please answer these questions with your student and assess the risk of the intersection. The next step would be to send this document via picture or email attachment back to office@mullinsdrivingschool.com. The state periodically reviews our records, and we want to ensure that we have done everything to give you and your child the best education.